All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today I'm going to talk about a major announcement for something that's going to happen tomorrow and why you need to watch out for this. This is going to be huge for the entire blockchain space, especially the Ethereum space. So much is going on right now. The Ethereum price is at an all-time high. We're seeing a ton of interest in the technology and also the asset itself. Talking about that, we're going to check on the cryptocurrency prices, talk about a lot of other news that's happened since yesterday. We do these live streams every Monday through Friday about 9:30 a.m. Central Time. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people in the chat here. Culture Hives, Gilsuck, Natasha, Jessica, Robbie, Naaman, Blake, Christopher, Dimitri, Bobby. Welcome. All right. So let's get into this. So also, of course, last but not least, I do hate these disclaimers. I'll try to say at the beginning of the live stream and not 1,000 times during the live stream. This is not financial advice. Nothing I'm saying here is designed to influence you to purchase or sell cryptocurrency based on any of the information that I'm talking about. So what is going to happen tomorrow and what do you need to know about for the cryptocurrency space, for the Ethereum ecosystem? Well, it's Uniswap version 3 is scheduled for launch tomorrow. Okay, so what is that if you don't know? Why is it such a big deal? Well, if you've been watching these live streams, you've been hearing us talk about this for months now. Okay, I'd speculated early on this year that I thought Uniswap version 3 was going to launch relatively soon. We finally got a release date for that. That's tomorrow. Okay, we know about this for about 6 weeks or so. So assuming everything goes to plan, assuming that we're still on schedule, which I think we probably are, then this will be the new improved version of Uniswap. So Uniswap right now is the most important decentralized application on top of Ethereum, in my opinion. It's got it's a DEX, so decentralized exchanges are one of the really hot use cases for blockchain technology right now because it lets people trade cryptocurrencies in a more trustless way without having to KYC on an exchange. You control your funds the entire time. It's powered by smart contracts. There's ways for other users to earn passive income by participating with these exchanges. So we've seen DEX activity really take off. Uniswap is the unmatched leader in that race. They have the largest fees, all that kind of stuff for DEXs. I mean, in terms of revenue generated by fees for the actual protocol itself. And anyways, this is a long anticipated event. So the base protocol upgrade is slated to go live tomorrow, which it has a lot of cool new features in it, right? Like concentrated liquidity that will provide a lot of benefits to the end user, capital efficiency, all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing that I'm excited about with this upgrade is going to be integration for Optimism Layer 2 scaling solution. Now. What's really important to understand is Optimism, the Optimism version of Uniswap is not, to my knowledge, planned for release tomorrow. The initial blog post that I showed you here today, which I'll just put a link to in the chat right now. So if you're watching the chat or you're watching the replay, this should come up. There's the link to the blog post that came out a while back. The Optimism version of Uniswap version 3 is not scheduled for release tomorrow. It is scheduled for release shortly after. I don't think we have exact date on when that's going to be. When this announcement initially came out, I believe I heard them talking about it being like in a matter of weeks after version 3 launches on the Ethereum mainnet. So this is huge. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some activity happen with Uniswap's token price in either direction. Right, sometimes it's a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. Sometimes people get excited about it. Of course, there are incentives to hold Uni tokens, all that kind of stuff. So this is big. All right. So I will update you as soon as we find out about when the layer 2 implementation for Uniswap version 3 rolls out. This is likely something you'll see happen a lot, where it'll launch on base Ethereum layer 1 and then we'll move to layer 2. But this will be the beginning of, in my opinion, wide layer 2 adoption, which I'm still going back in my prediction that I think we'll see wide layer 2 adoption for the Ethereum ecosystem in 2021. I made that prediction back in January. We had some setbacks. Optimism was supposed to launch in March. Of course, we're not seeing a full unwhitelisted Optimism open to the public for a few more months. But we are going to see, key applications launch on Optimism who have permission right now. So there are other layer 2 scaling solutions that are, kind of ramping up to try to fill that gap. We've seen Arbitrum, we've seen other ones. We're starting to see ZK powered scaling solutions also pop up as well. So this is big and something you definitely need to keep on your radar. All right, so let's look at what's going on with the prices because, things are going really well for Ethereum right now. If you've been watching this channel for a while, I think you're getting super excited because the market's finally kind of catching up to everything we've been talking about for quite a long time. So Ethereum has just been ripping through, $3,000. We're currently we reached an all-time high of, let's see here, $3,519. So it was not that long ago that ETH was just at like $2,400. Let's actually check on our 14-day here. Yeah, we were here at $2,245. So we basically, moved $1,200, roughly speaking, or actually, let's see, what was it? For like $1,400 basically in less than 2 weeks. So this is a big sentiment change. So one thing that is potentially driving this, I don't know for sure, but I'm seeing a lot of rumors of institutional interest in ETH. So basically, we're talking about institutional adoption of cryptocurrencies in a lot this bull cycle, how it's a huge factor because institutions can buy in size in a way that retail investors, people like you or I, cannot buy. So, you think about your average Joe getting on Google and saying, oh, the cryptocurrency prices went up. Like, how do I buy Bitcoin? They get on Google and say that, find that. And they go buy, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, $10,000, $100,000, even $1 million. Like that's all kind of the general spectrum of what maybe a retail investor could do. There of course be some outliers, but generally speaking, institutions can buy like $100 million, right? They can buy $1 billion. We saw that with Tesla back with Bitcoin earlier this year. And so, I've talked about, ETH being sort of the bet to front run the institutions before they get into this type of thing. And we're starting to see rumors of that playing out. Now, I don't have official news sources yet, but how this typically happens is they will get in, get their positions and then release the news later, right? So they'll get ahead of their announcements. They won't announce it and then do it. They'll do it and then announce it. So I would keep an eye on that for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that happen in the news. So part of the confirmation of this is we're starting to see really big orders go through. You know what I mean? That could just be whales. Maybe institutions are using like OTC desks or something, or I don't know. But we'll just wait and see. But that would be a pretty good explanation for why this is moving so fast. And we talk about sentiment shift changing. It wasn't that long ago, earlier this year, especially if you watch these live streams, you see it where we had so many ETH killer narratives. People thought ETH is just dead. It's just too slow. It's too expensive. Nobody's going to use it. Well, we always talk about the value in ETH being the network effect anyway. There's so much that you can do on top of the Ethereum network that overshadows the technical weaknesses. And the whole Ethereum killer narrative is that ETH's not going to fix its problems, or we're going to fix ETH's problems before ETH does. Which we talked about how there's a lot of there's kind of a lot of fallacies with that argument. But I wanted to show this because I saw it come up on Twitter that this has been around for a long time. You see people say like ETH's going to die, it's a dinosaur, it's never going away. This was an article from, let's see here, 2018 from TechCrunch. The collapse of ETH is inevitable. So that definitely didn't happen. So I bring this up because it's funny, number one, and number two, to see that this kind of stuff has been happening for a long time. When you're sitting here like knowing what we know, if you've been watching these live streams, you're like, hey, that's not going to happen. But it doesn't change the fact that either somebody sees an opportunity to try to make themselves look good by making something else look bad, or basically just talk about something they don't really understand, make really bold claims, and it's been happening for a long time. So I just thought that was funny. I want to share it with you guys. So another thing that I saw come out yesterday was a new NFT drop. Okay, so this was from Larva Labs, so the creators of CryptoPunks. So these were, I think was it Meat Bits? Yeah, or Me Bits. Sorry. So this is a new NFT that dropped yesterday. The public sale opened shortly after it announced. I believe it's all sold out now. I didn't buy any. They were pretty expensive. I mean, it was like, I think the starting bid was like about $8,000 per NFT. I was like, nah, I think they had about 80,000. I saw people on Twitter get pretty mad about it because they were like, oh, this is just a cash grab, all this kind of stuff. But hey, they sold them. And I think doing the math, it was like about a $70 million sale. I had to figure it out actually, because I think some people were able to mint their NFTs from if they owned CryptoPunks or not. I'm not sure if it was all by collecting ETH that all the NFTs were minted, but it was a pretty big drop. I'll put it that way. And now some are selling for quite a bit. So there's a lot of hype around this, I think, because of the CryptoPunk success. It's from the CryptoPunks creators. They also created autoglyphs. Now they drop these Meebits. I see people talking about how Meebits can be like avatars in digital worlds, like metaverse type stuff, and that's another reason they could be cool. So we'll see. It's definitely a little bit different from the original CryptoPunk drop. They were pretty expensive comparatively. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Were you mad about the Meebits? I saw a lot of people who were upset. So one thing I also wanted to talk about in terms of NFTs is we saw this come out yesterday. If it's true, that's always the caveat here. Is it true? But eBay talking about exploring opportunities on how to sell NFTs from a CNBC interview. So that could be interesting. We've talked about that before, kind of like seeing ways for average people. I say average people. I don't want that to sound bad. What I really mean is non-blockchain people who want to buy NFTs, people who aren't comfortable with how to use blockchain technology. Ways for average people to sell to that type of person. So, things like Shopify stores, eBay, any way that we currently have sort of like decentralized selling happening. Of course, there's central intermediaries. I get that part. But I mean like decentralized in the way that it's not like, some big business who just like bought 5 million NFTs and wants to sell them to consumers. I just mean somebody who's like, I own 1 to a dozen NFTs and I want to sell it to an average person who doesn't have an Ethereum wallet. How can I do that? Then we're seeing an opportunity pop up with that with eBay here. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. So another thing I want to talk about with Ethereum scaling is, we talk about Uniswap version 3 launching, and then, shortly after coming out with layer 2 scaling with Optimism, we're seeing different scaling solutions implemented. One thing about layer 2 scaling that is a little bit of a pain point is that if you have your funds on Ethereum layer 1 right now, you will have to migrate to layer 2, okay? And this is something that we can get help with from centralized exchanges. So basically, there will be some initial pain from getting off of layer 1 Ethereum to layer 2 to actually get the benefits of much faster transactions, cheaper transactions. And if you're just tuning in and you're new, like that's what's going to make Ethereum fast in the short term, and it's going to help also in the long run whenever Ethereum 2.0 gets here. We don't have to wait for Ethereum 2.0 to fully ship to get these benefits, to make faster transactions cheaper. So one of the biggest complaints is that people can't go trade on Uniswap. It costs them $100 to make a trade or more now, and they are, they're not trading that much money, and it kills their profit. So layer 2 it builds a second layer on top of Ethereum that helps this out, reduces some of the computational load on the chain itself, makes it cheaper to do, and it's faster. So there'll be some pain to if you're on layer 1 Ethereum now to get to layer 2. And so another user experience problem here is people getting off of centralized exchanges. They withdraw ETH, or maybe they have Ethereum based tokens and they want to go to layer 2. Well, it's like 2 steps: withdraw and then, get onto layer 2. But we're starting to see support from exchanges to actually withdraw directly to layer 2. So here we see this support here. This particular exchange is going to support direct deposits and withdrawals onto Ethereum scaling solution Arbitrum. Okay, so this is another solution that I talked about earlier. That's trying to fill the gaps, especially with the optimism delay that we've seen. So this is great. This is exactly what I'm talking about, and I hope that we'll see other exchanges follow suit and support other layer 2 scaling solutions. And this could also influence which scaling solutions actually take off, because I think we'll see that. I think we'll see consolidation around a handful of different layer 2 scaling paradigms, probably whatever a core set of applications settles on, like Uniswap's going to have a big influence on that. Then whatever exchanges start to support in terms of withdrawals and deposits, we'll probably start to see some influence in that. And there'll be incentives for people to coordinate and choose the same types of things. We might see competitor Dapps, choose different scaling solutions just to there might be a reason to do that, but especially Dapps that are more synergistic, we'll see some big incentives to converge around a handful of solutions. So another thing that's cool is we're talking about EIP 1559 being a big thing on the roadmap for crypto. So what does that mean? If you've heard of Ethereum's fee burning, then that is something that's going to happen in July. So essentially, whenever you send transactions on Ethereum network, you have to pay gas. So if I send ETH from my wallet to yours, it costs money. You have to pay a transaction fee to do that in addition to the Ether that you're sending. Same thing with any ERC20 token. Same thing with any DEX trade. Like if you're swapping on Uniswap, you have to pay a gas fee. As I was talking about a minute ago, the gas fee is being really high for people. So basically, we're seeing a change in how Ethereum works come out in July, where part of the fee that you pay is going to get burned. Okay. And so people talking about this leading to deflationary ETH at times of peak activity and potentially net deflationary over a long period of time if you zoom out on larger windows. So that could affect the price of Ether quite a bit because of simple supply and demand economics. If people still continue to demand Ether and there's less of it or less being created, then that's going to have an influence on the price, right? So I actually saw a graph here with EIP 1559 sort of modeled into the past history from Coinmetrics here. Basically, if EIP 1559 had been applied since July of 2018, this is what the ETH issuance would have looked like. And we would have seen it go negative here in July of 2020. We would have seen it touch this like zero line in 2021. And so this is based on the current activity of the Ethereum network, okay? And now you might say, oh, well, that's not net deflationary, right? Like it just drops below here at this peak activity and then just touches it here. And then here we're, we're still in positive issuance. But if you talk about increased activity on the Ethereum network, which you can already see is happening. So let's look at here, Etherscan, daily transactions. Daily transactions on the Ethereum network are at an all-time high. At the time of recording this video, or about an all-time high, they're still trending higher. So you look at that here, boom, daily transactions are just on an upward trend. And, we just reached an all-time high a few days ago and are continuing, on an upward trend here, especially as more people are buying ETH, starting to use the Ethereum network more. So that trend will continue, and that will likely alone have an impact on this issuance here. But the other thing you have to think about is layer 2 scaling solutions. So when Ethereum transactions are cheaper in terms of layer 2 and then stuff getting settled back on the Ethereum main chain, it's likely going to lead to more total transactions. Okay. And, how those transactions eventually get settled on the main chain, it's hard to determine, at least for my current understanding, how that will affect the fees that get paid to the Ethereum network in terms of, total transactions going on the base chain. But that will likely lead to net more transactions, which will lead to more gas being paid, more fees, more burning, which will have a huge impact on this, which could really send issuance negative. And so the whole point here is that if you apply this model and you project out, you can also see the trend, right? Here's what's going. It's trending downward. You see these spikes. Here's a trend. You see these spikes. We're starting to see, lower highs, right? And if that keeps going up with more Ethereum adoption, especially with the layer 2 scaling solutions getting here and ETH 2.0 in the long term, we could firmly, get to the negative camp, All right. So, I mean, it's possible for this lower high to start riding this line or getting below it. So it's pretty crazy. Anyways, I also saw this yesterday. It's pretty funny. This is kind of like a lighthearted thing. Somebody says, so my employer paid me in crypto. It rose 700% in value. Now he wants employees to return the crypto and accept dollars. That's awesome. So let me know down in the comment section below. Would you actually comply with your employer? Would you return your crypto if it went up by, 700%? I think most people would say no. That was the deal. So let's check on on-chain metrics. Actually, what I want to check on is the ETH to BTC ratio. Before we do that, because this is the ratio of the Bitcoin price, the Ethereum price to the Bitcoin price. Every time we look at, prices are always ratios. Basically, you just take the two things you're comparing. So this is Ethereum to US dollar ratio. You just divide ETH by US dollar. So ETH over, if you're like looking at a fraction, if you like math, that's how it works. Basically, it means it costs $3,413 US dollars to buy one ETH. And so similarly for the ETH to BTC ratio, this asks the question, how many Bitcoin does it take to buy one ETH? And currently we are at a long time, not all time high, but a long time high. I'm not sure that's a real word, but you get what I'm saying. Basically, we're reaching new highs that haven't been seen since July of 2018. So this is a big deal. We're starting to see that we really broke out of this trend here. And this is crazy. So this is pretty bullish for people who anticipate a flippening happening. So what does that mean? Well, this basically means ETH becoming the #1 market cap cryptocurrency and actually flipping Bitcoin. So I think this is possible. I don't know that it's necessarily possible this bull cycle, assuming that we are in a boom and bust cycle for cryptocurrencies. I think long term it definitely is possible, simply because of what you can do with the Ethereum network. The fact that it's a more productive asset than Bitcoin is or can be natively on its own blockchain. That EIP 1559 coming down, so many incentives to hold ETH becoming scarce, more scarce, deflationary, all that kind of stuff. There's lots of reasons why it could become more valuable than Bitcoin, and so we can actually track that on Ratio Gang on how our progress towards a flippening. So basically 0.3. So this is a metric where some people famously on social media were talking about ETH is dead. And this was not that long ago. This was back in the low sentiment time of this year. But anyways, we had 0.16 is where ETH would flip Bitcoin. So basically ETH would have to be $8,884 with Bitcoin's current price. I mean, it could happen. We could see some crazy institutional surge, some bullish narrative for ETH come out, and then it could just blast off by 2.5 times. It's not that unreasonable considering what Bitcoin did earlier this year. I mean, Bitcoin went from $15,000 all just past $60,000 really fast, based on its narratives and a huge hype cycle. So ETH, could do the same thing. I think it's less likely, to tell you the truth. I'm not trying to just be a moon boy and get your hopes and expectations up, but I am trying to talk about a range of possibilities here. And it is within the realm of possibility. Now, let me tell you what's not in the realm of possibility, just for to understand where my head's at. It's not within the realm of possibility that ETH blasts off to $100,000. It's just not going to happen. Do the math. The market cap would be insane. We're looking at a market cap of probably $8 to $10 trillion or something like that. It's probably not going to happen, especially when we're here at 392 million. But ETH going to, close to $1 trillion pretty fast. Yeah, that's possible. If big institutions, jump into play, ETH, it's currently at about 2017's Bitcoin all-time highs. So, Bitcoin was about this market cap not too long ago is the point I'm trying to make. And it could pretty quickly get up to $1 trillion if institutions really latched on and said, hey, ETH is our thing. It could definitely happen. So that's definitely something to keep on your radar. But yeah, the ETH to BTC ratio is going up like crazy. There's something else I was going to show you here. Yeah, so let's look at our Unchained metrics now. So let's kind of get an indication of what's going on with the overall market health, assuming that the Bitcoin price is still a pretty good indication of that. So I'm also looking at my YouTube analytics here. I'm gonna take this take a screenshot. We're currently at 1,554 concurrent viewers. I wonder if we can get to 1,559. It's a 1559. That'd be awesome. So anyways, let's look at the Nupal metric here. So this is a kind of indication of where the Bitcoin price is in terms of euphoria. So basically, we don't want to cross euphoria line in terms of our bull market. So we are currently at 0.65. So we're trending back upwards, but we still have a lot of headroom here before we reach that price point again. So this to me, this is bullish. For Bitcoin to kind of move sideways here and consolidate. That gives us more headroom in the market, assuming that Bitcoin is still sort of the yardstick that we use to measure the health of the market. That dynamic could change over time. If ETH flips Bitcoin, that means, hey, maybe that model's not as relevant anymore. Also, if ETH flips Bitcoin, I don't necessarily expect it to stay that way. Like it could flip it temporarily, but I do think there will still be some bias in the market short term that shouldn't be the case. And we could definitely see Bitcoin gain ground. Like all these assumptions that I'm talking about are assuming that Bitcoin doesn't move, that Bitcoin continues to do what it does. But I mean, ETH would have to, if Bitcoin blasts back off to like past $60,000 or to $75,000, then ETH of course has a lot more ground to cover, and you're going to see that ratio change. So you got to think about that. But we also see Dogecoin. I mean, crazier stuff is happening. Dogecoin flipped XRP. It's coming from Binance Coin, and to tell you the truth, it's like about a 30% increase here in Dogecoin, maybe a little more, would flip Binance Coin. It's getting close. So we could see Dogecoin hovering at number 3 on the cryptocurrency market cap charts. I mean, it would be insane for it to flip ETH. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it would. I mean, I don't know what the Doge price would have to be. It would have to be like several dollars. Just doing the quick math. I mean, it's flipped all these other layer 1 chains. It flipped Cardano. It flipped Polkadot, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. That's crazy. All right, so if we got any questions here in the chat. Somebody says, I only get euphoria during bloodbaths and massacres. Easy money. Yeah, sounds like somebody who's got some experience in these markets, watching stuff go up and down like crazy. Yeah, you have to kind of think opposite. Of course, not financial advice. You can't systematically be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy, or else you would buy every single cryptocurrency that ever went to zero. So you have to apply some discernment when you use that heuristic, I would say. Somebody says, is there a possibility adding a featured section to your YouTube page, trying to find Solidity gems? So basically go to the blockchain development courses page on my YouTube homepage. That's where I put all the tutorials, the longer tutorials. There's a couple of Solidity feature length tutorials inside of there. Somebody says, could you please show us how to withdraw your profit without selling everything? I mean, you can do it a couple ways. So you could just like dollar cost average out, where you just like sell a little bit at a time. Now, dollar cost averaging out assumes you do sell everything just over time. You just wait for the price to change because you don't know where the top is. But you could also just sell like a little bit, like 10%, 25%. You could, whatever your principal is, you could just sell that. Like, so let's say you bought $100 of cryptocurrency and it went up to $1,000, you just sell $100 and then you got your money back. I mean, you also want to sell whatever you need to for taxes, but you just let the rest ride. That's how some people do it. But it just depends. It depends on what your situation is. Like if you invested if you invested $100 and it went to $1,000, and you don't need $1,000 right now, and you just want to let it ride, and it doesn't matter if it goes back to $100, then just leave it in. It's not trying to be financial advice, but I think most people watching this, if you're in America, like your life's probably not gonna get ruined if you lose $1,000. It will probably suck, right? But it's not gonna like ruin you. Now, I think for a lot of people, if they lost like $100,000, that'd be a different story. You know what I mean? It happens all the time, crypto. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so more people can learn about blockchain. You know, just fascinated with this technology as I am. How can you get your hands dirty? Get started today. You go to my YouTube homepage. You can find any of my free courses there. I like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. If you like those, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, you don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.